and projecting that out through the end of the fiscal year. So, in the process of trying to address this, we targeted savings, and we targeted $2 million in general fund savings that we've sought through the meet and confer process, as well as those other measures that I was referring to, and a target of $2 million in HHSA funding through meet and confer, and layoffs were part of that original plan as well. With the general fund target, our hope had been to try and achieve it all through the meet and confer process and only go to layoffs if that couldn't be achieved. So the general fund targeted savings, the county developed a proposal for 12 days of mandatory time off or the equivalent value to be taken 8 hours per pay period through June 30th, 2009. Now, as you know, we're talking about more flexible scheduling, but that was the original proposal that we were starting off with. And approximately 10 layoffs would need to be implemented April 1st for every missed MTO day. Just a benchmark kind of figure, but that's what we've been working with. In terms of HHSA and their targeted savings, they developed a proposal for 4 hours of MTO weekly, and that schedule going through June 30th, 2009, and up to 29 layoffs between social services and mental health might be necessary to achieve the full target for 2008-9 and downsize for 2009-10, anticipating further program cuts, depending on the results of the MTO, the voluntary time off, and HHSA's internal hiring freeze. So you've got kind of two different targets. You're correct that there's an overall, county shortfall, but we've had kind of complementary strategies working towards that.
Do we have an indication what the attrition and so forth may be that we can that would result in reducing the number of layoffs?
We're trying to look at that now. It's like we're coming at numbers from different angles, and so trying to align or reconcile those numbers, you have to be very careful, because some of the numbers we're coming at because we're saying we're getting less than what we put in the budget. Some of the numbers are because it's increasing less from what we actually received last year. And in terms of attrition, it's hard to know what the baseline was from which we've got that attrition. So the mid-year update is a point in time, and that's what we're working off of now. We are trying to figure out how we can apply attrition, and it may be that we have to do it from one point in time to another point in time, and it's not something we can do on a flow basis.
Thank
you. We're working on that, believe me. Okay, automatic updates. A voice from afar trying to interfere here. Okay, so in the meet and confer process, the county met with 9 different bargaining units, but if you're trying to count here, the Probation Employees Association is actually 2 linked bargaining units, and it's an explanation, but anyway, it's essentially meeting with 8 different groups. And I think, well, this isn't all going to work, but on the agreements to date, what we proposed was agreeing to take 12 MTO days through June 30th or 2009, and agreeing to the HHSA weekly mandatory time off schedule as appropriate. So I think these are not going to be in the order from top to bottom, but I'm sure we can follow this anyway. So the first one that I want to mention is confidential employees. Those are the employees that are in the HR department, county council, CEO, and clerk of the board, who are considered to be dealing with confidential information, and they have signed an agreement. They've signed a tentative agreement and a side letter of agreement, and that is up for ratification later today. And we want to recognize their efforts in being part of the solution here, and in particular, one of the things they indicated was that this was not about the county trying to force something on them. They wanted to be part of helping the county get through this financial crisis. And I think that's important to recognize, that that's a motivating factor for all of the folks who've been part of this process. SEIU Local 1021, we're very pleased to announce that we have signed off on the side letter of agreement. We had a previous tentative agreement and now a side letter of agreement yesterday. Again, that's up for approval with the board, and that is the county's largest bargaining unit, and they put a lot of time and effort into communicating with their members and to really understanding the county budget, and again, wanting to be part of the solution, and we definitely want to salute them in this process. Probation employees, we have a signed side letter of agreement, and they also wanted to be part of the solution here, despite the fact that they've got 24-hour employees in their bargaining unit, which presents a problem because traditionally 24-hour employees are ones that if you try and do mandatory time off, they you end up paying overtime to cover for it. So again, we want to recognize their efforts in being part of this. The deputy sheriffs is pending. They have definitely met us halfway at this point, and we're working on the rest of the solution the rest of this week, and so we hope to have something to present to the board next week representing their contribution. Again, they're falling in the equivalent value category, since mandatory time off is not something that, again, can be easily applied to 24-hour institutions like the jail. Department heads, we have signed tentative agreements, signed side letter, and they are fully on board in terms of the 12 days. Elected department heads kind of link with department heads, but they have committed through a memo to taking the 12 MTO days. Management exempt is in the same category, and the management bargaining unit has also signed a tentative agreement and side letter. And so we wanted to take this opportunity to let people know where we were, the results of that meet and confer, and how important it is that everybody's been involved to the extent that they can. There are 2 bargaining units that we have not reached agreement with. That's the Law Enforcement Management Association and the Public Attorneys Association. And I guess I'll just say that's unfortunate, but I wanted to recognize where we were with the folks that we've reached agreement with.
If I were only looking at the slide, I would think that, with the exception of, I think, the deputy sheriffs who you've said are in negotiation for an equivalent value. But other than that, looking at the slide, I would assume that every unit is on board for 12 days of MTO.
And I should clarify, the SEIU Local 1021 is on board for 11 days and understands that that means that the balance would default to layoffs countywide as part of balancing the budget. And the probation employees, in terms of the target that was set because of their 24-hour positions, they are meeting their target, and in meeting that target, they have agreed to 9 mandatory time off days. The deputy sheriff's target, again, was set based on recognizing the 24-hour employees and how that figures into the target, but they are looking at equivalent value and not time off, which for them then is truly a cut in pay.
Supervisor Brown.
Yes, I'd just like to salute those departments, county departments, as well